Shalom, everybody. This is Betty Erica, aka Lady Smooth, aka Lady Yahudith, aka the daughter of the Most High, Ahaya, and Yesaya. And welcome to Daughter of the Most High Ministries. So, excuse me. So, I know it's been a while. I've been going through some trials and tribulations. But we're going to push through because the Lord wants me to carry out this message that I was supposed to been carry out. As you can see, I'm wearing my breastplate as high as I can because I want you guys to understand that they don't like this for some reason. And this represents the 12 scattered tribes of Yashael in Judah. So this is what we're reading about as of right now. The Lord has been leading me to read Ezekiel, because most of the prophets are a prophet for a reason because they prophesied what's to come in the future. As you have people like me and Sister Carrie Ann telling people, prophesying what is to come, She's at a much higher level than I am in prophecy, and there are others as well. As far as women, and there's much powerful men out there. Pastor Omar is one of them, a pastor and prophet. And there's many men that are part of raising up to the awakening and coming back to part of the priesthood. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Also part of the priesthood, the things that the Lord had put in my spirit that these heathens tried to destroy our heritage so bad to the point to where everything the Lord is of good, the enemy wants to put negativity around it. So when it comes to, and this is a disclaimer before I read what I need to share with you all today. If men are in things like gang activity or groups of what you call gang banging in the hood, they are originally supposed to be a part of the priesthood. And they are supposed to gather with one another on accord to come in unity for the affairs of Yashael, our people. And they're supposed to meet together in council and also receive a word from the Most High and how to lead our people into the right customs, into the word of the Lord. But yet, being scattered in America has forced people to come together in unity in negative groups like the Crips, the Bloods, and the hood. Okay, I am not innocent. I have, when I was very much so in the world and worldly and wicked, and I'm still working on some things, a lot of things that, because I'm not very influenced by people, but when it comes to trying to find the right man, I need to, I want to say, be more sure that he is of the Most High. Anyhow, back to the subject in hand. So, the Lord has guided me to read about Gog and Magog and Meshek and Tubal. And this is in Ezekiel chapter 39. So it's Ezekiel chapter 39, 1 through 7, verse 1 through 7. And the reason why I have read this, because I asked the Lord, I said, how can people distinguish the difference between Yashael, aka the Hebrews, and the so-called JEW.S people? And you know what I'm talking about. because being JEW.S is basically, it's a religion. It's not a race. It's never a race, because if you talk to either one of them, they are descendants from either Russia, Ukraine, Turkey, and a lot of other European regions. Okay, plain and simple. And some Middle Eastern. Okay, which carry on the Egyptian customs as well as Babylonian practices. So I asked the Lord, how can you know the difference? And he showed me. He showed me right away. He said, go to Ezekiel 39. I'll tell you the difference. So let's read. I'm reading my Sefer. See, I have everything highlighted here as usual. It says, therefore, son of Adam, he's talking to Ezekiel, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus says Adonai, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshek and Tubal, and I will turn my back and lead but the sixth part of you, and will cause you to come up from the north parts, and will bring you upon the mountains of Yashael, and I will smite your bow out of your left hand, and will cause your arrows to fall out of your right hand. Now, what is happening here? There's going to be a war coming to Yashael, aka South Africa, the real place, not the political state created down there in 1948 that they call Israel, because it's not. Okay, there's going to be a war, because at this point the Lord is regathering the people to rebuild what is already desolate and waste. This is what he's showing me. Okay, so I continue. Okay. And I will smite your bow out of your left hand, and will cause your arrows to fall out of your right hand. You shall fall upon the mountains of Yashael, you and all your bands, and the people that is with you. I will give you unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. You shall fall upon the open field, for I have spoken. It says Adonai. Adonai Yahuwah. Ahia, basically. And I will send a fire on Magog, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles. Now they spell isles Isles, but we know that means the European nations of Portugal, North America. The islets is basically the Liberian Peninsula, the Peninsula. They have a hotel called the Peninsula Hotel that I've been to. Peninsula, okay? The Liberian Peninsula. This is all European countries, okay? These are all European areas. So why would God say, why would Ahia say, I'm going to bring you to Yashael? Because we know Yashael is not European. And these people, he specifically said Gog and Magog, which make up of the part of the European regions. Okay? And he's talking about, when he say the mountains of Yashael, we're talking about in Africa. I continue. And they shall know that I am Yah. So will I make a holy name known in the midst of my people Yashael. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore, because they have. Like I said, the men are supposed to be part of the priesthood, and they out carrying silly, throwing up their stupid gang signs and submitting to the Babylonian system, to the Egyptian worship in the entertainment industry. Now, years ago, I used to be like that. You know, not anymore. And I used to make music that way, and not anymore. But I never submitted to the Egyptian part of it. Okay. And I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore. And the heathen shall know that I am Yah, and the holy in Yashael. Okay. So what is the Lord saying here? So when they come with the wars from Russia, from Ukraine, because this is basically talking about Ukrainians, because most of the Ukrainian JEW.S people are Ukrainians, which is basically Russian, but a different, they're all just separated and whatever. Yeah. So basically it is the Iberian Peninsula, Europe, Portugal, and Spain, aka European folks, Russia, Turkey. If you talk to most JEW.S people, they're from Turkey. So it's not a race. Yashael is a race that has been taken from our identity as a people, the Hebrews scattered about from the Atlantic slave trade, because that is the Lord's judgment. And that's what I'm going to continue to read right now. So, okay, so I'm going to skip a part and I'm going to go down to this, okay? And I will set my glory, says the Lord. And I will set my glory. This is 39 verse 21. Among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Yashael shall know that I am Yah, Elohim, from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yashael went into captivity. Say it again. Verse 23. This is chapter 39, Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yashael went into captivity for their iniquity. In other words, I did that to you guys, not them. Yes, they did. They carried out the Lord's wrath, but this was his judgment against the house of Yashael to go into captivity from the Atlantic slave trade. Not those so-called ones, because they never went into captivity. Never, ever. When they went down to Germany before this genocide, Holocaust, whatever you want to call it, it was tragic, dearly tragic. It should have never happened, but it was amongst their own people who did it, just to cause this whole, just to create the story base and make it biblical, but it's not. Okay, so this is the thing. They went down there because they were called on jobs. They thought they were coming to make a better future for themselves, but they allowed themselves willingly. Yashael was never, ever, and they were always kings and queens and part of the priesthood, and no one has ever bothered them. This is what I'm about to read now. No one has ever made Yashael fear. We've never been in poverty. Our ancestors have never been in poverty until they submitted to the other ways of the nations and left the Lord, the Most High. So he caused the judgment among them to go into captivity. So nobody willingly came to Babylon, America, Babylon, Caribbean, Jamaica, all of these places and Caribbean places all around and spread it all, cast all and spread it all through Africa. They never did that willingly. That was the Lord allowing his hand to be used in the heathens to do this, to carry this out. Now, let me read it again. 23. And the heathen shall know that the house of Yashael went into captivity for their iniquity, because they transgressed against me. Therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. True. Because when our ancestors from the Atlantic slave trade dispersed throughout the nations, they called and cried out to the Lord, and the Lord hid his face. He did not be lenient with all of the stuff that these heathens, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that the captors have done to our ancestors. Horrible. So fell they all by the sword, according to their uncleanliness, and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus says Adonai Yahuwah, now I will bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Yashael, and will be jealous for my holy name. This is what's about to come. Prophesy. This is what's about to come. And when he always say again, I mean, I wrote down about, man, over like at least 10 to 20 prophecies about the regathering. It's all throughout the Bible. There's no one here and one there. No, it is all throughout the Bible, and mainly speaking from the prophets like Ezekiel, Isaiah, Jeremiah. All of the prophets are prophesying this to come. And this is before the sixth seal. Okay? As Sister Carrie Ann would say. Okay? Now, the difference is when the Lord guides me, and he keeps guiding me, sometimes I want to stop. And I say, okay, that's enough. And the Lord said, no, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. I want to show you something. I want to tell you something. I want to show you. And he has. So after that, they have borne their shame and all their transgressions, whereby they have transgressed against me when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. So the Lord is saying, before they went into captivity, they dwelt safely. No one bothered them. No one bothered them. But they transgressed against him. Okay? And when I brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemy's land, when I have brought them from the people and gathered them out of their enemy's land, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yah. So he's saying he's going to do this. He's going to do this thing. When he regather us, for the second Exodus, okay, the regathering from the four corners of the earth, out of the enemy's land, because everyone hates Yashael. Sometimes I get overwhelmed because I think about how many How many of our people have been subjected to incarceration? You go to the majority of the jails and it's just all filled up with Yashael. All of black people. Very few Hispanics. Teeny tiny whites. One here or there. But the whole jail system is filled up by blacks. Let that sink in. Even most of the of people who have just in there for dumb stuff or in there for a long time. You know? I'm not going to go there. Testimony. Anyhow, I am Yah Eloheinu, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. This is 39 verse 28. I am Yahu Eloheinu, which caused them to be led into the captivity among the heathens. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them. For I have poured out my spirit, my ruach, which is spirit, upon the house of Yashael, says Adonai. Go down to 40, chapter 40. In the 5th and 20th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after the city was smitten, in its self-same day, the hand of Yah was upon me and brought me there. This is Ezekiel talking about, because he's foreseeing this, and this is what the Lord is showing him. Clearly you know this because he says in visions. In the visions of Elohim brought he me into the land of Yashael and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the south. Ha! My goodness, Lord. Oh, Lord. The south. South Africa. Where it's trodden down by the heathens and still desolate, okay, but will be rebuilt and brought back by the right people. And he brought me there, with thither, that's what they say, but there, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass. Father. Brass. Totally opposite from this. Brass. Think about a penny color. Brass. See, I'm copper tone. Brass is darker than me. I'm copper tone. I am a penny color. Basically the same color as a penny. I'm not your light skin type of girl. I'm light skinned, but I'm not as light as some other women, you know, who have that bright pale look, kind of, you know, like, you know, palish, you know, glow. I'm not saying that in a bad way, so please don't take that out of context. But I am a copper tone that when certain Caucasian or other women of other race go get a tan, they choose to be exactly my color, my complexion. That's just saying that there. It's kind of like a rose gold. That's one of my favorite colors, like a rose gold. But when it comes to brass, it's a shade, 2 shades, maybe 3 shades darker. Ahiah's color. Yesaiah's color. The true Messiah color. Okay? Let's listen. The true Messiah color. This is the priest of all priests. That's brass. So, continue. with a line of flax in his hand and measuring reed, and he stood at the gate. Okay, let me continue to read. And the man said unto me, Son of Adam, behold with your eyes and hear with your ears, and set your heart upon all that I shall show you. For to the intent that I might show them until you are brought here. Declare all that you see to the house of Yashael. And behold, a wall of outside the house round about, and the man had a measuring reed of 6 cubits long by the cubit, and a hand breadth. So he measured the breadth of the building on 1 reed, and the height of 1 reed. Okay? So this is when the Lord regathers, okay? Yes, this is when he regathers. So, let me go back, because I'm almost done here. Let me go back to chapter 38, verse 8. And it says here, no. I'm going to go to 37. Okay, I'm going to go to 37, chapter 37, verse 19. Say, thus says Adonai, behold, I will take the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Yashael his fellow, and will put them with him, even with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. This is the Lord talking about regathering each tribe, regathering them. He knows which ones they are. And the sticks whereof you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And say unto them, thus says Adonai, behold, I will take the children of Yashael from among the heathen. Again, he says it. Again, he stresses it so much. Wherever they gone, and will gather them on every side. This is 37 verse 21, honey. And bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Yashael. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more 2 nations, neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms anymore. Okay? Okay? So, and if you keep, because it says from every side, keep going. I'm gonna skip and go to 23. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all of their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And David my servant shall be king over them, and they all shall have one shepherd. This is to come. This is all to come, okay? This is all to come. We already know by this time Ezekiel is way past Samuel. So we know David has already been king. So this is a prophecy, and you know the Lord also speaks in parables. So when he's talking about David being their king, we know it's from the tribe of Judah. We know. We only have one king. One king. Okay? So, with that being said, because when Yashael is in trouble, to be honest with you, no one fights for Yashael but the Lord. Really and truly. Unless he send, he may send people with a righteous heart to fight for Yashael, especially when it comes to the system. But other than that, the only time Yashael is saved is when they do repent and ask the Lord for help, especially in a stiff situation. I've been there, so I know. No one fights for Yashael. No one. Everyone fights for them. The so-called JEW.S people, but no one fights for our people. No one. But our Lord. Remember that. So, I'm going to go to verse 26. Moreover, will I cut a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And the heathen shall know that I am Yah. Do sanctify Yashael when my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. He says, my people. My people. None other. None other than. None other than. Okay? So let's go to 38 verse 8, and I'm almost wrapping it up here. 38 verse 8 through 12. 8 through 12. After many days you shall be visited in the latter years. The latter years. This is what the Lord is saying to Ezekiel. Now, possibly, maybe Ezekiel might be one of the end time prophets in this time to come. When the captivity of Yashael, when the regathering of Yashael comes, and they already is in safety, and then the Antichrist is about to get on the scene, maybe the two prophets will be prophesying, probably starting in Africa, South Africa, and then worldwide, but also during this time. I'm thinking he may be one of the prophets to come back. I don't know. Okay, so after many days you shall be visited in the latter years. You shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of my people against the mountains of Yashael. So that place is already set there, made after 1948. But anyways, they're already set there, right? They can't be regathered by the sword, because the regathering by the sword is the ones that is trotting it down in South Africa right now. Out of my people against the mountains of Yashael. And Africa has many mountains, which have been always waste. What's that? Always waste. But is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. You shall ascend and come like a storm. You shall be like a cloud to cover the land, and you, all your bands, and many people with you. Okay? Again, verse 8. After many days you shall visit it in the latter years. You shall come into the land that I brought back from the sword, and is gathered all my people against the mountains of Yashael, which have been always waste. Waste. but is brought from forth out of the nations. Because Yashael is still in the nations. Still scattered all about. And thus says Adonai, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into your mind, and you shall think an evil thought. Now, the Lord is talking back to Gog and Magog. And you shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Just like they say, oh, Africa don't have this, they don't have that, they're not modernized. Okay. To take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn your hand upon the desolate place that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. This is what's going to happen. Gog going up against Yashael again. Okay? Okay? And it goes on to say, therefore, son of Adam. Okay? Verse 13. Shiva and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions, therefore shall say unto you, are you come to take a spoil? Have you gathered your company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Because they always stealing. Always stealing. My goodness, Jesus. These people talk about thieves and want to talk about Yashael stealing and this and that. Yashael only, if let's just say the African American, that's what they call the Hebrews. The only reason why they steal is because they're forced to. They're forced into poverty. But these people whom have already, who have money, who have these things, they steal anyways. They steal. They try to kill. They try to destroy our people. They take from the poor. They take from the least. They conquer. They trodden down every area of our people's lives. Oh, it gets me upset. So, verse 14 said, therefore, son of Adam, prophesy and say unto Gog, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, and that day when my people of Yashael dwell safely, shall you not know it? Now he getting on that case. And you shall come from your place out of the north part, the north, European, aka the peninsula areas. Where was I? The north parts, you and many people with you, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And you shall come up against my people of Yashael as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days. I will bring you against my land, that the heathen may know me. Well, I shall be sanctified in you, O Gog, G-O-G, before their eyes. Thus says Adonai, are you he whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Yashael, which prophesied in those days, many years, that I would bring you up against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time when Gog shall come against the land of Yashael, says Adonai, that my fury shall come up in my face. For I am for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Yashael, so that the fish of the sea and the fowl of the havens and the beasts of the field and all the creepy things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. The Lord has always been there. He's always been in the motherland. Well, he sees everything, but his presence has always been planted there, because that is the true Yashael. Done with this. I'm done with this lesson. Take it how you want to take it. Read Ezekiel for yourself. For this is the true Ukrainian people, because when you pull up the Liberian Peninsula, when you Google Gog and Magog, Meshek and Tubal, Meshek and Tubal, prophecy will unfold. So with that being said, we pray Psalms 91 on this channel. Bye-bye. Shalom.